80 plus hours a week. We had limited budget and never-ending problems to solve.
Yeah.
And what I didn't know at the time,
Real world problems.
it was real world problems, believe me. I mean, it was either eat or starve sometimes if we didn't solve them. And it was also hazardous as well. Fortunately, I think sitting in front of our computers, the biggest hazard is whether we get a hangnail typing the keyboard. But what I didn't realize at the time is that I was also being prepared for corporate life because I was shoveling manure every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Freedom Solutions Show. I'm Eric Asbeck, and today we have Dan Kapellen. And Dan, this is going to be a fun one. He talks about reaching peak performance in your business and your life, and so he can tell you a lot more about that. But hey, Dan, how are you?
Great, Eric. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So let's just jump in. Please tell us your story and how you got here.
Well, I actually have been an entrepreneur from very early in my life. I took a detour during that life to do some corporate work, but I grew up on a farm in Wisconsin, and farming is the entrepreneurial experience, especially the small family farm I grew up on. We had all the perks of being an entrepreneur. We had 80 plus hours a week. We had limited budget and never-ending problems to solve. Yeah. And what I didn't know at the time,
real world problems.
It was real world problems, believe me. I mean, it was either eat or starve sometimes if we didn't solve them. And it was also hazardous as well. Fortunately, I think sitting in front of our computers, the biggest hazard is whether we get a hangnail typing the keyboard. But what I didn't realize at the time is that I was also being prepared for corporate life because I was shoveling manure every day.
I'm not going to say anything.
I used the polite version of the word. Anyway, but one of the things about farming in Wisconsin at the time, especially Sheboygan County, where I grew up, is that the oldest son, I was the oldest of 7 children, was expected to take over the farm from dad. And it was a life that I did not like. I was more interested in science. I was good at math. I was interested in sports. And I wanted to go to college. Ultimately, I was the first in my generation of kids in the extended family of cousins to go to college.
Wow.
And so, as you can imagine, it was not well received. I went anyway. Ultimately, everybody accepted it. And lo and behold, others in the family followed along as well, going to college. But the thing about it is that it took a number of detours. I had actually hoped to become an astronaut someday, but my eyesight wouldn't allow me to be a pilot. To be a pilot to become an astronaut. So then I had to think about, okay, what do I do now? Okay, I'll work for NASA. Well, about the time I was going into college, NASA was cutting back. The Apollo program was starting to, cut back on budget. And so I had to pivot again. And I ultimately went into mechanical engineering, which gave me a lot of options, and it led me into the transportation industry. So a lot of people might be, before you tune out, say, well, the transportation industry doesn't have anything to do with me. But it's not so much what I did, the industry that I went into, but the journey that I went through. People have predisposed ideas about engineers and their personalities. And yeah, I fit those predisposed ideas at the time. And it doesn't make you a lot of friends. I thought there were 2 ways to do things. One was my way, and the other was the wrong way. And again, it's something that sort of capped what I was capable of. I managed a lot of technical accomplishments. I moved from engineering into marketing, and in doing so, had the opportunity to travel the world. I worked on business development in 19 countries. I worked with a lot of technical people, even the CEOs of the companies overseas, the management of the companies overseas were technically oriented people. And so what I brought in terms of being able to communicate the technical concepts was well received, and I was in high demand by our sales teams.
Well, ironically, I have that part of my story is similar. I was at Bell Labs and then moved into product management and then global program, management. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, yeah. You and I had talked about that, Eric,
yeah.
and I recall that. It's amazing sometimes how we always have those parallel experiences.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it didn't happen by accident, and I imagine for you either.
no, it was intentional for me at the time, but the thing that I began to realize as time went on was the importance of relationships. I went through a serious health episode because I was traveling so much, changing time zones constantly. One day I was just my head was flat on my desk after a long trip. I was hacking and coughing, and my boss came in and he tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Go straight to urgent care. Don't go home and don't return to work until your doctor writes a note saying it's okay for you to return to work."
Mm.
So I went to urgent care. They called my doctor, and I'll tell you, by the time I got there, I thought I was dying. My doctor put me in the hospital for 3 days. I had pneumonia, and
Mm.
then gave me medication that flattened me out for a week, in which I slept 20 hours a day. And as I was working my way out of it and went to work 2 weeks after I was sent to urgent care, I began thinking about what really matters in life. And I thought, the first opportunity for an early out, I'm going to take it. And I did. And I became, I guess you would say, I was on my second entrepreneurial journey at that time,
Yeah.
only this time as an adult. One of the things that I learned in that time and the process as an entrepreneur is there's really three people who are important to success in business. And these same three people are important to your success in life as well.
Mm.
The first person is yourself. You need to understand yourself. And I learned the importance of taking quiet time, meditation, something that I never did in my corporate life,
Sure.
to think about what it was that I wanted to do and really what I wanted to do for other people. And I developed the idea that I really want to help other entrepreneurs. I want them to realize the importance of the relationships and how to incorporate them, how they function and how they do things. The second person is your audience. One thing that I think entrepreneurs don't fully appreciate is that they're not in a position to serve everybody or to have a product that serves everybody. When I started with some business coaching, and I would ask people, well, who is your product good for? Describe who buys your service, and they'll say it's good for everybody. Well, it may be true. And in many cases, entrepreneurs do have a product or service that's good for everybody, but not everybody is going to hear the same message.
Right.
And so understanding what the wants are and zeroing in on that is very important. It's something I learned. The other thing about an audience is when it comes to leadership, leadership is not just employees in your organization or a team that you're supervising. Leadership comes in interacting with everybody, your family, your community, your management in the company, colleagues in the company. And leadership involves three primary principles in my mind. One is knowing your purpose and being able to communicate that purpose. The second is finding the people that you align with. Let's face it, you're not going to get along with everybody. You are not going to align with everybody, even your customers. You want to find the people who align with the purpose of the service you provide, with the vision that you have for yourself, with the vision you have for your business. And the people that you align with are the people who are going to become your followers. They're going to become your advocates. And when you find these people, then you need to act. And so I call it PAR, P-A-A-R. I'm a golfer, and so I associate with golf acronyms, but this has an extra A in it. So thinking about purpose, alignment, action equals results. That's the R. And when I found when I fully understood and appreciated that, I was much better able to move forward, both with my business as well as with satisfaction in my life. The third person, so we covered myself, yourself is number one, your audience is number two, and the third are your alliances. These are your joint venture partners, the people who fill a gap of capability or outreach that you don't have. These are the people, they could be part of your audience. They could be people referring you. They could be an advocate. But more importantly, they have their own business. They have their own purpose. And you want to help them achieve their purpose, and you want to fill the gaps that they don't have. This is where alliances and joint ventures place. And when you find these people, they're special.
Yep.
They are going to introduce you to people that you hadn't even thought of before. They're going to introduce you to opportunities that you hadn't even thought of before. So that's been largely my journey.
You're not the specialist in everything either. So it's good to be able, and I wouldn't want to be. I know even if there's something that I know things about, I want to focus on the thing that I'm doing, that I'm really tuning myself to provide for folks. And so if they have questions outside of that, it's really great to know folks you can say, hey, here's somebody who's quality who can help you with that.
Yeah. And there's times that you just got so much on your plate, you want to be helpful. That person is going to appreciate you and remember you the next time, and become your advocate because of your integrity.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so you got me intrigued, and so I'm kind of wondering, can you tell me about someone that you helped with this, and how that and the transformation that got created?
Yeah, there's been a number of people. I'll tell you about one of the recent people. It's and I mentioned that one of my areas of expertise is new product development, and I met somebody at a workshop few months ago who had a product that is an amazing product that in fact I'll talk about it. It's called the Tucket, and it is a pouch with a special clip on it that can carry keys, or the larger size can carry credit cards, or the larger size can carry passports. And it's very comfortable, designed very intentionally, and you can tuck it inside your pants or your underwear, or for women even inside their bra strap. And the person who designed it has spent tens of thousands of dollars developing it, getting patents, trying to promote it, and had sold very few. And so we just sat and talked a little bit about what it was, where the failings were in not selling more. And I went to the website, and the website was very confusing. And actually her messaging about it was very confusing. In fact, the workshop that we were at was one in which we were all in this workshop trying to learn how to do a better job of presenting our message. But she had other issues. She had some quality issues that she was going through. And I understood the product well enough that I wanted to get it for Christmas for my sisters and my daughters. So I ordered 7 of these. And they came in, and I looked at the packaging, and on the front was a big card about it being eco-friendly and all the advantages of eco-friendly. Now, I'm all for eco-friendly, but I don't buy a product just because it has eco-friendly on the box. You think about it, if you got a shelf of eco-friendly things, are you going to buy all of these eco-friendly things? No, you're going to buy the items that do something for you. So this has to do something for you. I turned it over to the other side, and it just had a sticker that said Tucket. Told me nothing about what it is or what it does. Now I'm going to give this as a gift. So does that mean I have to call all 7 of these people and explain to them what it
Here's what it
does
is.
and how
Here's
to
how to
use
use
it?
it. Yeah.
And
Why
how
it's
many
helpful to you.
referrals are going to come out of that?
So,
Anyway,
to kind of get to the point of how you help her.
so anyway, we've had probably about 4 hours of conversation in Zoom meetings, and she has updated her website. She's made videos that she had visible that explain how to use it. She's revised the packaging in such a way that people now get driven to where they can learn about it and how to use it, and even added a QR code so that people can just pull it up on their phone. And she is just thrilled, tickled. She went to a separate workshop where she talked with somebody to whom this person sold 3 for her, and she sold 4 more at the workshop. And so she's on a roll, and now she can go out and she can talk to retail stores.
Yep.
Probably put it on Amazon, which is something that I'm recommending, and do a much better job of advertising it. It's still a work in progress, but her personal transformation, her demeanor when she talks about it has been elevated because of the confidence that she has in being able to deliver a message for a product that is outstanding.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm rooting for her, and I'm just thinking, really, it can be a big benefit to get another set of eyes looking at things, eyes that see around the corners and like look at it from a fresh view, the way you did. That's awesome. So with that said, people are thinking, well, great. So I want to go do that myself. I would love to have peak performance in my business and my life, and the things you talked about with the 3 areas of people and the story. So what are the kind of roadblocks that people can run into as they kind of head in that direction? They're saying, I want to get there.
I think the biggest roadblock for people starting out, and even people who've been at it for a little while, is they are so in love with their product or their service that they think everybody's going to come to it automatically. All they have to do is put it on a website and people are going to look at it and they're going to want it. And it just doesn't happen that way. We've all seen and heard the stories of people who have a lousy product or provide lousy service but have a thriving business because they message it properly. They do a great job of marketing. And so the idea is that you have to have a clear purpose, and you have to have a clear differentiation from other people doing similar things. And you need to be able to explain the benefit to the person that you want to deliver your product or service to. The benefit for them. So often we think about the benefit in terms of what we get from the way of a benefit with it. We don't always think that somebody else may see it a little bit differently. So I think
it's
that's
that old quip about the radio station WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, so I'm just thinking back to your time in the farm, and that you kind of knew where you wanted to go with college and stuff like that, but heading out on that path, if you could go back and talk to that 18-year-old self of yours and say, hey, here's a tip, what would you say?
Yeah. Actually, it kind of relates to one point I was going to make about, the roadblock and what to do about it. And I think that the two are very similar in this answer. And that is to kind of create that vision, begin with the end in mind, so to speak, because the roadmap to that vision becomes a lot clearer, and the skills, the mindset required to get there become a lot clearer as well.
You're kind of thinking of it like, if you know that you're intent on getting to a particular destination, then you can start equipping yourself with the things that you're going to need along the way and the things that you'll need when you get there. And that shifts how you're going to pack.
Yeah, very much. are you going skiing or are you going to the beach?
Right.
You pack very differently.
Yep. But by knowing that, then that 18-year-old of you, your 18-year-old can start to say, hey, well, this will help me in this in this adventure. And wow, well, this looks pretty cool. It's nice and shiny and interesting, but it's really not going to move me towards that. So thanks very much. I mean, that's a powerful thing.
And yeah, very much so. And I think having that vision is important, even if it changes. I mean, the two things that I wish I knew as an 18-year-old is the importance of having the appropriate mindset, having a growth mindset. Now, I was a perpetual student. I always was anxious to learn, but I was anxious to learn about things. I wasn't as anxious to learn about people. And I wish I had realized the importance of people and relationships with people. That would be probably the single biggest advice or knowledge I wish I had as that 18-year-old. I think that not valuing people and relationships with people during my career, especially my corporate career, capped what I was capable of doing. I'm sometimes amazed at what I was able to accomplish, but on the other hand, I think of all the things that I could have accomplished but didn't because I felt like I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
And we're not an island. We need people on that island with us, in that car on that trip.
Back to those three kind of groups
Is.
that we talked about.
Exactly. Knowing, how to work on yourself. Working on identifying that audience, the people that are going to become your advocates, as well as your partners along the way.
Yes.
So that's what I wish I had done.
Yes, I got it. Well, with my schedule, I've got to wrap up. Unfortunately, there's so much more we could talk. And so I think maybe the best thing to do is to say, how can people get a hold of you?
The easiest way would be to go to my website, which is peakbizperformance.com. And you should see it behind me.
Yeah, up there.
Above there, but it's all one word. PEAKBIZ performance, all one word.com. That would be the simplest.
Awesome. And I understand you have a gift for folks too.
I do. You can see that over my right shoulder. Everyday leadership, 10 key skills to increase your value and impact. And in it, I talk about the importance of showing up as a leader in every interaction with every person every day. And I provide 10 skills for you to look at, and you can write your own notes and create your own roadmap for what it means to show up as a leader with every person in every interaction every day. You can get that by going to leadership.peakbizperformance.com, and you'll be able to download it from there.
Just put leadership dot in front of peakbizperformance.com.
Exactly.
Perfect. Wow. It's been super great, Dan. And I'm so sorry I have a constraint. We can't talk more because I imagine, well, we can go on. Our audience may be grateful that we're giving them pause. They can check in with you and learn more. But this is so great. I had such a fun time talking with you, and I think our listeners will, are really appreciating what they learned today. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Eric. I really enjoyed this, and I didn't give you the opportunity so much to show off your great interviewing skills. I did a lot of talking.
That's okay. I was thinking the questions that I was going to ask you got answered along the way. So I was thinking, perfect, keep going. So we're great. We're doing great. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Eric.
Okay, take care.